You know, there's nothing like being behind the scenes in the green room. There's no green here, obviously, and I don't see any over there where Willie is either, but Dr. Willie Jolley is, but we're in the green room. And I'm not going to read this long bio because I'd be here all day talking about this gentleman that coined the phrase, a setback is a setup for a comeback, the gentleman who's one of the top 5 speakers in the world. I'd be here forever talking about him being in the NSA Speaker Hall of Fame and so many other things. So let me just say, Dr. Jolley, why don't you tell them who is Dr. Willie Jolley? And more importantly, what are you up to these days, man?
Well, thank you, Shay, and greetings to everybody. I am Dr. Willie Jolley, and I am grateful to say who I am. I'm just a friend of Shay Brown. That's my claim to fame is saying I'm a friend of Shay Brown. That opens doors. When I go to places, I say, Shay sent me in. And they open the door. They give me the best table. Well, for those who don't know, I am Dr. Willie Jolley. I'm the author of the book, A Setback is a Set Up for a Comeback. The book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. The book, An Attitude of Excellence. The book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks. And the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, that I wrote with my bride of 35 years. I've been honored that I've been named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters. I'm grateful only 50 people in the world have ever been given that honor, including Norman Schwarzkopf, Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher, Christopher Reeve, Les Brown. I'm also honored that in 2000, that was 1999. In 2005, I was inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame. And then in 2013, I was named a legend of the speaking industry. And I am a guy who was a former nightclub singer who got fired and replaced by a karaoke machine because it was more cost effective for the nightclub owner. I decided I was never going to let anybody else determine my destiny. And I started looking for new opportunities. I had a setback, but I believe that setback was not the end of my story. And I took a job with the school system as a drug prevention coordinator and started giving little speeches to kids about staying away from drugs. And from there, started a speaking business that has now gone on for 30 years. And I've been very grateful to be able to have those accolades. But that's my story. And now I am able to do radio, television, books, speaking, virtual events, radio with Sirius XM, where I have the #1 self-help show in the country now on channel 141 every week. Daily radio on Radio 1. My dear friend, Dr. Kathy Hughes, called one day and said, I want you on my radio stations. And so we are doing a syndicated session every day on her station on Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolley. And then a lot of online programming. We've got a media company now called Jolley Media that I'm running with my son, who's an attorney, and we're growing that. So we got a lot going on, and I'm very grateful. Last but not least, I think it's very important for people to know not only am I a motivational speaker, but many consider me to be a motivational minister because my doctorate, which is earned, by the way, I'm very grateful that I took a year off and went back to school, and it grew me. It wasn't just something I thought about, but something I wanted to do to grow my potential, my capacity. And so I went back to school and I got my doctorate in faith-driven achievement. And in that, I am also a man of faith. So in 2014, when Zig Ziglar had died after many years of being on the Get Motivated tour with General Colin Powell and Les Brown and U.S. presidents, and Zig died, I'm honored that they said, we want a man of faith who's also a minister or has a motivational messaging like Zig did. And they called me, and I'm grateful that for a number of years, from 2014 to 2018, when they ended the tour, it was me and Les Brown and Damon John, and we went around the country doing 2 cities a week. So I'm a man of faith who believes that my gifts and my abilities are just a blessing from the Lord. And so I give him glory for everything that I do, everything that I am. So that's me in a nutshell, man. That's my story.
Man, I love how you share that, and that's so important. And let me ask a question, because the book you wrote, I know we'll talk about that when we get going. We're in the green room, so they like to hang out in the green room, by the way, for these snippets. A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback was written, many years ago. Why is
Yeah,
that book still
it's 20 years
relevant
old.
today? Huh?
It's over 20 years old.
I know. So my question is, we're going to be talking, doing a deep dive when we get into the main segment. For those folks that are watching, the entrepreneurs, the speakers, the authors, the coaches, the trainers, the experts, the moms, the dads, why is that book still more relevant today in your mind than it was maybe 20 plus years ago?
I think that's a great question, Shay. And the reason that it is more relevant now is because we are in a time like nothing we've ever seen. We're in a time where we've got a pandemic, we've got economic downturn, we've got massive job loss, we've got racial strife, we've got social upheaval, and we're in the midst of a very divisive presidential campaign. Now, any one of those by themselves could be disruptive, and we got them coming all at the same time. It's unprecedented, unparalleled that anything we've seen. So when I talked about 20 years ago, Setback, somebody might have lost their job. They bought the book. Somebody might have gone through a divorce, or what I call the devastating D's of life. They might have gone through a divorce, a disease, a diagnosis, a disaster, a downsizing, a death of a loved one. And one of those things might have come upon them, and they needed a comeback. They were in the midst, but we're having all of this stuff coming at the same time. This is unprecedented. And so right now, people need it more than ever. They need that book, and that's why the book is jumping off. We had 197 orders of the book just the other day. 197 just one day. People heard me on the radio and ordered it. I got to have it. That's just one day. So it's amazing. It's more relevant than I think ever before. And I'm very grateful that, and I tell people this, Shay, you'll appreciate this. That book, which many people give me credit for, and some on the other hand don't. And some people think Joel Osteen wrote it because I sent him a copy and he says every week, a setback, that's nothing but a setup for a comeback. And then T.D. Jakes has used it and people think he wrote it. I wrote the book, but here's what I want to say. I tell people that book didn't come from me. It came through me. So I was just a conduit for God to use it to get to people, to help them through their tough times, their tough moments, to let them know that there was hope for their future. And so I just am grateful for the fact that I was able to be used as a conduit to get that book out. And it's, I've said over the years, that book is like nitroglycerin. I mean, I'm still going through the book. I pull it off the shelf often. And I've had people who call me and say, I had the book on the shelf. I went through something and I pulled it off and found the answer right in chapter X or chapter Y or chapter Z or whatever. And it blessed me. So I'm very grateful. I think it's needed now more than ever because we're at a time when any one of those things I talked about, the things that are going on right now, could disrupt your life. And we got them all going at the same time.
They're all going at the same time, and you're making a relevant point at the right time, at the right moment. Look, we've got a show, Dr. Jollies. We got Susan out there and Sharon out there and Cal. What's going on, my man Cal? So many folks are tuning in. We got a show. We come back. We're going to do a deep dive into a setback as a setup for a comeback. But more importantly, something that Willie Jolley has been doing for a number of years. And for some of you, I want you to pay attention. And that's helping businesses really grow, helping them to expand. So while he works with corporations every single day, he also has a place and a space for the entrepreneur and the small business owner. I'm going to ask him about that when we get back. We're going to get going in 5. It's my favorite part, Dr. Jolley. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's showtime. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you.
My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big, big, big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And I believe you have 3 visions that I love to share. 3 visions. I believe first you have a vision for yourself. I don't know, the clothes you want to wear, the car you want to drive down the road, the organic food. I know you can't wait to eat, right? You can't wait to eat that. And it takes resources, which means it takes revenue. And I believe you have a second vision, by the way. You have a vision for your loved ones, the ones you care the most about. Mother Dear just turned 73 this month. I had a chance to hang out with her yesterday. She's only 15 minutes away. And one of the things about Mother Dear, even during this pandemic, before I could go there, is she got really good at ordering stuff online. It takes resources because it was my credit card, by the way. But she loves to do that. And some of you want to write a check for someone's health care insurance. Some of you want to write a check for someone's mortgage. Some of you want to send your kids to a school of their choice or support a cause you believe in. And it takes resources, which means it takes revenue. And I believe you have a third vision, I believe you have. And that's a vision for the people you are called to serve. And I want you to imagine for a moment, I always like to give the example of Noah, and you don't have to be a believer, but imagine you're Noah in the Bible, right? And you're ready to get going on your mission. You've got the expertise from God. You've got all the resources you need. And right before you get going, there's a knock at the door. You're like, what's going on? What is it? Door over here. Here, see me? Yes. No, I'm sorry to report, but there's no hammer in the house. No hammer, no big deal. We don't panic. We're going to keep going. We do this thing. What? Excuse me. No, I might as well confess over here. I couldn't find the nails either. There are no nails. No hammer, no nails. Rule number 1, I never panic. Oh, geez, what is it now? Over here, me, yes. There's no people and there's no wood. Good luck, Noah. And you're like, maybe that's you. You've got the purpose. You got the passion. You can't freaking believe anymore, but it takes resources, which means it takes revenue to get your business off the ground. And today you got the one and only Dr. Willie Jolley that only can provide you the resources to help you get the revenue, but he has the expertise. So with that being said, let me welcome to the stage the one and only Dr. Willie Jolley. How are you, my man?
I am grateful to be able to be on with my friend Shay Brown. I've known him and his family for many years. His brother, Kwame, is a dear friend. His dad was one of the icons in our city. And so I'm very grateful to be able to be on with my man, Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. So the happy entrepreneur got Willie Jolley on. So the jolly and happy are all working together.
It's all working together. You know, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. And let me just address the elephant in the room. You got this setback is a setup for a comeback. And if you can, take a moment for the person that's watching right now and define what that means and what the premise is behind not only the book, but in my opinion, it's a whole movement that's really taking place.
Yeah, right now I am probably more popular, more in demand than I have been in a number of years because people are desperate for a comeback. In the midst of all these trials and tribulations, calamities, pandemics, they're looking for a comeback and they're looking for a way to get this done soon. And so many have heard about the book, A Setback Set Up for a Comeback. Some have heard about the exploits that came from the book, i.e. in 2006. Now, the book came out in 1999. In 2006, I got a call from the Ford Motor Company. They were on the brink of bankruptcy. Their market share had gone from 50% down to 15%. They brought in a new CEO named Alan Mulally, who said, we've got to change the culture. We need a comeback. One of their execs, when he said the word comeback, one of their execs in the executive suite said, there's this guy, I have his book. a setback set up for a comeback named Willie Jolley. We need to get him to help us. They gave me a call. I remember that day I was in my car on my way to a speaking engagement in Hampton Road. And I had to pull over so I could listen to this. This is Ford CEO and COO and top executive saying, we need your help. And so they told me the problem. Market share had gone down. They wanted to bring a bankruptcy. They needed help. They needed to change their culture. They needed to come back. So they said, we want you to be part of our team. So they brought me on. I worked with Ford in 2006, 2007, 2008. And in 2009, you might remember that Ford was the only one of the big three automakers to be able to reject a government bailout and go from losing millions per month to making billions per month. Now, did the economy go up between 2006 and 2009? No. Did circumstances in our country go up? No, they went down. What changed? Thinking. When we were able to change the thinking of the people at Ford and get them a comeback spirit and a comeback mindset, then we were able to give them first hope and then help and give them principles that would work. They used them, and Ford went on to stage an amazing comeback. So right now, a comeback, a setback is a setup for a comeback. My story, getting fired, replaced by a karaoke machine, setback. But it was just a setup to get me out of that nightclub environment, to get me to where God really wanted me to be, which was sharing a message of hope and possibilities that would empower, encourage, inspire, uplift, and do it on a global stage. I had to get out of there to get to here. So that was a setback, but it was all just a setup for a greater comeback. And I'm saying to all of you who are watching this program that you're going through some tough moments. You're going through some challenging times. Your business has been impacted. Your marriage has been impacted. But there's just a setup for a comeback. It's comeback time. And my job, my mission, my assignment is to give you hope first and then specific help to help you turn this setback into an incredible comeback.
I love it. And folks out there like Eric Heilich says hello to you. Jan Goss is out there. Danny's watching. Frank Marshall down in Atlanta said, what's up, Dr. Jolley?
Uncle Frank, my main man, Uncle Frank. I got to give a quick shout out. Uncle Frank, Father's Day, Uncle Frank had a special program where he invited fathers and sons to do a panel. And it was my son and I. And it was great. But we also had one of my dear friends, Joe Dudley Sr. and Joe Dudley Jr. For those who don't know, Joe Dudley Sr. was founder of Dudley Hair Care Products. He's in his 80s now, and they were part of it. It was just a phenomenal experience to hear fathers and sons talk about building businesses, building a legacy. And that's one of the things we want to do as well, help people build their legacy.
I love it. You know, take a moment if you would. We got a call recently, about 2 or 3 months ago, Dr. Jolley, and there was a woman that was calling in, and she was hearing her voice a little stressed. She said, hey, look, by the way, I'm now working from home full time. I'm now a full-time wife. I'm a full-time mom. I'm a full-time school teacher because she has 2 kids in elementary school and 1 in junior high. I'm a full-time administrator, Dr. Jolley, because she got to turn in their homework. She's also a full-time cafeteria worker because she's never cooked as much in so long, by the way. And she's starting and running her business and trying to do that full-time. She said, Shay, I'm an overwhelmed. There's a whole lot going on, and I got to keep going. And she may be watching, and I don't want to say it's just a woman because it could be a man out there, a gentleman that's going through some things. And the point is in a place of overwhelm. And there's a setback going out, but if Dr. Jolley could talk to her or other entrepreneurs to feel like there's so much on my shoulders, all this new stuff I got to do, what would your suggestion be? What would your recommendation be? What's a good starting point for folks that are ready to get on the comeback trail?
You know, this is going to sound simplistic, but it's true. You have to choose. Are you going to curse because a rose bush has thorns? Or are you going to celebrate because a thorn bush has roses? Are you going to curse because you're overwhelmed with a lot of stuff that is just demanding? Or are you going to celebrate that you are still here in the land of the living, that you're healthy, that you are able to do all these things. Even though you're stretched thin, you're going to celebrate and be grateful. Look, it's not like she has the capacity, ability to say, well, I'm just not going to do one of those things and be responsible as the person she wants to be. So she's being pulled. But being grateful gives you another perspective. It's a perspective what we're going through right now. It's about perspective. Yeah, she's got a lot on her plate, but she's well able to handle it as long as she keeps an attitude of gratitude and says, let's look at what we got. I got a job. Thank God. I got a husband or a wife or a spouse or a significant other. I got kids who I can at least teach. They're okay. They're teachable. I've got food to cook, and I've got the ability to have some people who I love. There's a piece in my book, the Setback book. There's a piece in here that talks about perspective. And I always love this piece. It says, when you talk to people, you got two choices. You can be healthy, or you can be sick. Now, if you're healthy, you got really nothing to worry about. And if you're sick, you only got two things to worry about. Either you're going to get well, or you're going to get sicker. Now, if you get sicker, you only got two things to worry about. Either you're going to recover, or you're going to die. Now, if you die, you only got two things to worry about. Either you're going to heaven, or you're going to hell. Now, if you go to heaven, hey, you got nothing to worry about. And if you go to hell, well, it's too late to worry now anyway. And so it comes back to a thought. Why worry? No, be grateful. I'm saying to y'all, that's a starting point of this comeback. It's gratitude. Because what it does for you is gives you hopefulness. Hopefulness is critically important for your future. There was a study done, Shay, by the University of Texas, where they took 4 little frogs, put them in a bucket of water. They kept them down till the air was almost extinguished. And then they pulled them out at the last minute. Then they took those same 4 frogs, put them back in the bucket of water, took 4 new frogs, put them in a separate bucket of water. They kept them down till the air was almost extinguished, and they kept them another minute. The frogs who had been through something before and were grateful that they had been pulled out had hope, and they held on. But the ones who had not been through anything, they gave up and died. And the lesson is that this is preparation. Here's what I want to share with everybody. Oh, I got something to share with everybody about your setback, about this crisis time. I got something to share with you. If you keep living, you're going to see a crisis again, okay? This is preparation for something down the road. I've been living long enough, thank God, I've been living long enough where I remember the turbulent 60s. I remember when I was a little boy, JFK getting killed, coming home that day from I think I was in kindergarten, and coming home that day, and the world was shaken. And then some years later, Malcolm X getting killed. I actually was in New York that day visiting my aunt. I remember that day. I remember when MLK got killed and the streets went up in flames. I remember when Bobby Kennedy got killed. The 60s were turbulent. Then we had the 70s with the gas and the Iran Contra and all of these different things. You had to line up for gas, and there was all sorts of destruction and disruption. Then you had the 80s, the 90s. Then 2001, you had 9/11, and then 2008, the economic downturn, and now we had a pandemic. And I've learned from history that if you keep living, every decade there's a crisis. And you learn to handle the next crisis during this crisis. This is your learning time. This is your developing time. So don't waste a crisis. Do not waste a crisis. This is your learning, preparing time, because there are going to be crisis moments coming in your future. So prepare now, learn now, gather information now. And again, the book could help you very much do that.
You know, Dr. Jolley, that's spot on. And for those folks that are out there, you can pay this message forward. How do you pay this message forward? We believe in the giver's economy. The person outgives the competition, out-earns the competition. The person outgives the competition, out-earns the competition. So hit the watch party button. Hit the share button. You can pay this message to your network. You can pay this message to a community out there. And when you hit the share button or hit the watch party button, that little box pops up. Go ahead and write in that box, a setback is a setup for a comeback. Hashtag Dr. Willie Jolley. Just put a setback is a setup for a comeback. Hashtag Dr. Willie Jolley. Pay this message forward. Do it now. Do it when? Now. Now is the time. That's right. Now is the time. Dr. Jolley, we have a number of folks out there that are also professionals. And they run offices from nonprofits to government agencies. Some are in the private sector, and they have teams that they're trying to deal with and work with even during this time. And I know one of the things that you do is you help folks and managers that are in leadership positions, like you did Ford and other things. What would you say to the person now that's out there and they're like, okay, my team is here. I can't see them anymore, but yet I got to communicate with them. I get the whole Zoom thing, but if Willie Jolley was talking to me and 6 months ago, we thought this might be gone by now, and it isn't. And now we're going not into what's happening, but to this is the new norm for at least the next 6 months. And so for someone that now has to bounce back as a leader, as a manager, and of an organization of people, which you work with, you go, and one of the things y'all might know, he goes into organizations. He works with folks just like he's doing now virtually with whole teams. What are you telling leaders how to be leaders right now in this type of environment?
Well, thank you, Shay, for that question. I am grateful that after the Ford success, I got calls. When Ford was able to reject their government bailout, the Detroit Free Press wrote a big article about Ford's amazing comeback. And in it, they said one of their secret weapons was a speaker named Dr. Willie Jolley. And that same day, I got a call on my cell phone from Vice President at General Motors and said, I read it on paper this morning about you. I need you. And then soon thereafter, I got calls from Verizon and Walmart and Chase Manhattan and Johnson & Johnson Dubai, Coca-Cola South Africa. I was going all around the globe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, speaking for companies because everybody wants to come back. And now they're calling now saying, we want you to do it virtually. I just did an event with Les Brown. The two of us just did an event in Sydney, Australia, a couple of weeks ago, talking to people about comebacks. Well, as a result of all of those companies and me then saying, this is too good an opportunity for me to waste it, I would get the CEO, the presidents, the people who were in leadership, and I think, could I ask you a few questions? Could I interview you on a couple of things? And out of that came this book, An Attitude of Excellence, how the best organizations get the best performance from the best people. And this book now, many companies buy it in mass for their people. Now, here are a couple of things that I want to say. First, about leadership. I tell people, you must understand that leadership is not a position. It's an action. Many people think that it's just she's the leader or he's the leader and everybody else is not. Well, no, it's not a position. It's an action. You do the things that are necessary to keep things going. You grow your success by becoming the kind of leader that will see a piece of paper on the floor and say, that's not supposed to be there. That's trash. I'll pick it up. It's not my job. I'll pick it up. Because you don't worry about your job description. You worry about that you want excellence. So that's, first of all, it's not a position. It's a decision, and it's an action. Next is about the team. In this book, there are 5 steps that I learned from all these great organizations. Leadership development at every level of the organization, change management, where you see change not as an enemy, but as an ally, team building, where you think like a team, work like a team so you can win like a team, customer service, where you serve the customer so the customer becomes your best marketing agent, because they tell everybody they know how good you are and how great your service is. And number 5 is a winner's attitude. So let me just take a moment about this team building part. Here's something I'll read from the book. When I interviewed General Colin Powell on my Sirius XM show, he made a poignant point about the power of working together as a team. He said, success comes from a mindset of one team, one fight. Organizations that resemble warring tribes usually fail. Teams that fight as one cohesive unit tend to win. And I'm very grateful of that. And I'm also grateful when I put the book out and started asking for people to endorse it. I'm very, very, very grateful that I got 2 endorsements that changed my life. One was from Dr. Stephen Covey. He's gone on to be with the Lord now, but I had the honor to be with him in Australia. I gave him the book, and he said, I'll read it, and I'll let you know if I'm willing to do a testimonial or not, because I don't do them for everybody. He had only sold 50 million books of the book, 7 Habits Highly Effective People. But here's what he wrote. Talk about a brilliant, inspiring, motivational book. It motivates me. Reading it, laced with powerful, practical examples, affirms and empowers you to choose success, to choose excellence, to see change and constant improvement as an ally instead of a fearsome enemy, and to choose a complementary team style where strengths are made productive and weaknesses made irrelevant because of the strength of other team members. Intertwining personal and organizational cultural development is so vitally and beautifully illustrated throughout. What an illuminating, uplifting read. That was his. And then I got another quote from another person who blessed me, Alan Mulally, who was the CEO of Ford, who helped Ford to come back. He said, Dr. Willie Jolley has written a powerful book that speaks to the impact of an attitude of excellence by every member of our team. Our attitude of excellence creates a high-performance, smart, and healthy working together culture that pulls everyone together around a compelling vision, comprehensive strategy, and relentless positive implementation for the benefit of all the organizational stakeholders. Share this book with every member of your team. And so it goes back to those people who are entrepreneurs. You've got to do a couple things. First, the best way to grow your future is to grow yourself. Come on. You see all these books here? Now, these are mine. And these are my audio books and my PBS specials. These are my music products and some of my other products out here. But below that are books. Over here are books. That's one of my Whammy Awards. But they're all the books. They're books all over that whole wall. Books over here. Books. I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to grow me. And I've never regretted one penny. Because Jim Rohn was right. He said, you must make a commitment to work harder on growing yourself than even growing your job. He said, because if you grow yourself, you, by the nature of the person you will become, will grow your business. So if you're really serious about growing your business, you really serious, then you got to invest in you. You got to grow you. You got to put money in you. Hard to get water out of a dry well. So you gotta put something in. So first thing is the best way to grow your future is grow yourself. Invest in yourself. I spent one time Shay knows I spent $10,000 that I didn't have to go to a seminar where I couldn't afford to go. But I knew there was a price for success, and then there's a cost of not being willing to pay the price. The cost of staying the same, the cost of losing time. And I borrowed that money, went to the seminar, and came back and quickly made $100,000. So I was willing to invest that $10,000. The next year, he had the seminar. I went up to $15,000. I paid for myself and my wife, but I wrote a check this time because I had the money to do it. So first thing is grow yourself. Next thing is grow your people. Your people, the people who are in your attitude, in your surroundings, the people who support you, your support team, your teammates. You got to grow them. Because that chain is only as strong as the weakest link. You want great people. Look, great people give great service. Good people give good service. Mediocre people give mediocre service. And negative people will kill your organization. That's true. Am I right about it, Shay?
You're right about it, Dr. Jolley. You're right about it 100% on time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you got to grow your people. So that's why everybody, these are two of the things I want to just encourage you. This is for your setback, and this is for growing your business. And so personal, setback, set up for a comeback, business, an attitude of excellence. So I want more success stories. We need more billionaires, millionaires, multimillionaires. We need them in our community. We need that.
Yeah.
And we need legacy. We need legacy. I recently had on my XM show Amy Griffin, who is a super lawyer who helps create generational wealth by creating your estate plan. We got far too many people who work their fingers to the bone, build a bunch of money, but they never establish an estate plan, a legacy plan. And so the day they die, there's a warring tribe that comes upon the culture of their family. They fight each other over every penny. They stop talking to each other. Where it could have been set up that you got a legacy plan, that you're going to put it in an irrevocable trust. And that way, that when you die, everything is, the trust decides who gets money, how they get it, how much they get, and how much of it stays in the trust for the next generation. So some people will go through that money like Sherman went through Richmond. I mean, they'll go through that money and burn it down like a wildfire. So then the next generation got nothing, starting all over again. But the wise ones, we look at the Carnegies, the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, they got wealth that 10 generations from now, some kid could be blessed by your efforts if you are wise enough to say, I'm going to put this into a plan. So, I'm trying to create wealth, not just riches, so wealth.
And as you're talking about creating wealth, one of the things that folks may not know about you, for Tahana, who's out there right now, she's watching, she says hello to you. Teresa's out there. For those folks that are out there and now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. Look below the video and just put number one. Just hit number one. Number one is just a bat signal. It's just a bat signal. You know what? Now is the time. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Now, for all the entrepreneurs, I'm going to ask Dr. Jolley, why he works with entrepreneurs. Now, he works with these big corporations, but he has this little sweet spot where every now and then he reserves a little place in his business to work with entrepreneurs to help them grow their business, to help them have the right structure, to help them be able to deal with the market, to help them transition. Here's someone who's made to do this for 25 plus years. That's hard to do, ladies and gentlemen, in today's world, and he's still very relevant today. So as you're hitting number one, because now is the time. We're not talking about the setback anymore. We're talking about the comeback power that you have right now to create something that does not exist. My daddy used to always say, Che, the future is spotless. And so you're going to create that future right now. So Dr. Jolley, take a moment, if you would, and talk about how you help entrepreneurs. Everyday folks like myself and others that might have one or two W-2s, a host of 1099s, a bunch of people working overseas with them. You help them grow their business. You help them have structures in place. Talk about the importance of that and why you still do that today, man, when people think you just motivate folks, and that's just a piece of what you do.
Well, there are two parts to this. One is I told you about help and hope, or hope and help. So first I got to give people hope. How do I give people hope that there's a worthiness of, I love that quote, the future is spotless. Every day, we send out a daily 1-minute motivational message via my newsletter list. If you're not on my newsletter list, you should be. You're missing an opportunity. That's free. Go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com. Just sign up for the newsletter. And every day, 1 minute. And so many people all over the globe say that one I needed today. I'm struggling here. Just what I needed. Okay, so first, that's that first. Second thing is that you said to talk about systems. Many people know, and Shay knows, and all of his team and all, that my wife is really the brilliant system behind my success. She is an organizational guru, unbelievable. And so she has started a whole new process because so many speakers, Les Brown and so many others said, can I send my staff to come and learn from you? Because you got such clear, definitive systems. So she created a program, a business as an aside to what we do as our marriage, as our business with Willie Jolley Productions, as our media. She's created a whole new arm called Back Office Boss. The Back Office Boss. And so I would encourage you to reach out to our office at info@williejolley.com. Info at WILLIEJOLLEY.com. Info@williejolley.com. And say, I want more info on that Back Office Boss. I want to learn about that. I want those systems that she has set up. that have helped others to grow their business. Because I'm struggling. I'm struggling here because here's what you talked about as an entrepreneur. How do you position yourself to get loans? How do you position yourself when the PPP? Many folks were struggling when the PPP money was out. Dee went to work. She wrote her systems. Bam. We got that money. And we needed it. Because we had just started Jolley Media and Jolley Publishing. So we had invested heavily into creating books, creating products, creating a new media company. And so we had corporate debt that we wanted to make sure we stayed on top of. She, because of her systems, was able to put the paperwork in, and people, they called it flawless. Others need help in setting up their systems so that they're flawless. Plus, I always tell people, my wife has kept me out of jail. I'd be in jail for some tax issue if it hadn't been for my wife. Because so many entrepreneurs get bit by the little things that they don't know what to do, and they get bit with a big bite from IRS, from this agency, that agency, and they miss out on opportunities. So, back office boss, we want to help entrepreneurs. Why do we want to do it? Let me tell you why, Shay. Because somebody helped us. Simple. Somebody helped me when I became a speaker. They took time out, blessed me, encouraged me, gave me tips. When Dee was setting up our speaker business, she had a conversation with a couple people, one in California and one in Louisiana. We were traveling, and they taught her some of their systems, and then she added her own systems to their systems, and that's how she came up back office boss. So I want to help people become successful. I want us to create more wealth in our community. So many of you want to be a speaker. I want to help you do that. Many people, I want to be a speaker. I got the gift. I got a gift for gab. But how do I do it? We get calls every day from people. And so here's what we did. Me and Les Brown one day were out in LA. And he said, Willie, you know what? Got some folks who are charging people $25,000, $35,000, $45,000, $55,000 to learn how to become a speaker, and they've never gotten paid that much money in a 1 hour speech as you and I have gotten. He said it's not quite fair. Now, they might can help a little bit, but if you and I started and had to pay $25,000, $35,000, $45,000, $55,000, we wouldn't be here today. Somebody helped us when we had no money, a little bit of money. And it resonated with me. I came back home. I got on my staff agenda on my staff page and said, we're going to do a training. I want to put it out to the country. And people came from all over the country for a 3-hour training in my office. And we did it. And it's called youcanspeaknow.com. The basics that some other folks were charging $25,000, $35,000, $45,000, $55,000 to teach. I give to people in a 3-hour training on video for $99.
Wow.
$99.
How do they get a hold of that? I like that.
Youcanspeaknow.com.
So is you Y-O-U or is you
Y-O-U.
Okay.
Yeah, Y-O-U. Youcanspeaknow.com. Go to that. $99. I want to help you. And what do I want in return? Here's what I want in return. Pass it on. Just pass it on to somebody else. Give it to somebody else. Give it without, just give it to your friends, people in your network. Just bless them. Because somebody blessed me. That's why I do it, Shay. I'll give you an example. One night, I was in my office. It was after 11 o'clock, probably 11:30. My phone rang at 11:30 at night. I'm working. The guy on the other end says, my brother told me to call you. My brother Kwame told me to call you. My name is Shay Brown, and I want to do what you're doing. I want to go to the next one. My brother said, call him. He said, but it's late. He said, call him. He's probably still in the office. And Shay and I talked. Well, we had a nice long talk that evening, and I told him how he got to hustle, and how he has to go forth and be bold. And I encouraged him. I said, you come from great stock, man. I know your dad. I know your brother. You can do this. Now today, Shay is one of the premier sales and entrepreneurial experts in the world. All over the globe, people are following Shay. I've had more people. When I was on the Get Motivated tour, people would come up to me and said, I heard about you through Shay Brown. I follow him. I mean, you would be amazed. People all over America know about Shay Brown. So I'm just honored to be able to say I played a little small part in that success.
You played a very big part in that success. So thanks so much.
You did the work, man. You did the work, and I just gave you a little spark. So that's why I do it, folks. Because somebody gave me a spark one day, and I spark others, and those others go on to do great things.
Absolutely. One of the things that Willie...
Let me give you one more analogy here. You take an apple, Shay.
Yeah.
You cut it. You take all the seeds out of the apple, put it on a table. You can count those seeds that come out of that apple. But you can never count the apples that will come from those seeds. You're one of my seeds, and now there are thousands of people who are disciples of Shay, who are encouraging and inspiring people all over the globe from that little seed.
Thanks up, man. I appreciate that. Everyone hit the watch party button right now. Hit the share button right now. Pay this message forward, because I'm going to ask Dr. Jolley in a moment, what is one of his mantras? What is one of his beliefs? What is one of his affirmations that keeps him going, by the way? And he's going to share it with you. And then I'm asking him to do something that he doesn't even do anymore, by the way, about this box. But for you out there that's watching right now, you're ready. I want you to hit the share button. I want you to hit the watch party button. If you've done it before, bless someone else. And when you hit that watch party button and you hit that share button, write these words. Now is the time. Hashtag Dr. Willie Jolley. Now is the time. Hashtag Dr. Willie Jolley. Now, why would you want to do that? Because it could be another little boy or little girl or big boy or big girl that's out there right now. And this message, Dr. Jolley's message, will change their life if they're let him. One of the things he didn't tell you during that conversation that he said that stuck with me, and that was back in 2004, 15 years later. He said, Shay, one of the ways I asked him the question, how have you been able to be successful? How have you been able to do all this? And he said one word, Shay, you got to hustle. He said, Shay, you've got to hustle. Every morning, every evening, every night, you got to hustle. And he gave me this example. He gave me a story even back then. He said, it's like me. He says, I always look at it like I'm in training camp. I'm trying to make the team. I'm the rookie. Every time I show up, I'm the rookie. And I give effort. That's what he's doing right now. Just like I'm the rookie. And I give it everything I got, and I leave it on the field. And I leave that message with you, because that's what I help. I said, well, I got to keep working. They said, Shay, why do you keep doing it? I got to give out there. He said, Shay, if you work hard enough one day, then one day you'll be paid more than what you're working for. I said, really? He said, yes, that's what happened to my son. I said, oh, my gosh. If it can happen for his son, it certainly can happen for me. Gee whiz. And so I keep working, and we keep working. But here's the message for you. Dr. Jolley, the question comes up often, and Jill Bullock is out there. Jill and Trill are right here local. They're in the area, and they're saying hello out there, by the way. Joy Daniels is out there. So many of our friends are watching. Teresa Rael would kill me if I didn't mention her name. And so many folks that are tuned in right now. The question came up is, what is his affirmation? What does he tell himself to keep him going when he's on that bounce back trail? And I'll tell you something that I learned. If y'all don't know about this, maybe Willie will mention this when he mentions affirmations. Get a chance, and I hope he does it virtually. We've been pushing him to do it virtually, to be a part of his goal setting, because you should be goal setting once a month. And I had a chance to sit in there, and he didn't know I was going to do this, but I sat there, and it was January of this year. And I was there, and he was doing his thing, and it was at his house. It was very personal. You guys can't do that anymore. His wife, Dee Jolley, probably not going to let you in the house anymore. But it was so personal. And in that moment, he said two words. And I can't remember everything else he said in there, but I wrote my list of my goals down. And I'm pretty, like you guys, I like to think, well, I got some big goals. Dr. Jolley, he might call my name. Wait till you see what I got. And then he stopped. He says, read your goals, which he did. And I don't want to give his exercise away, but this is what I took away to help me. He says, now I want you to do one thing. I said, what has Willie Jolley got up his sleeve now? Think bigger. Think bigger? Mm-hmm. Think bigger? Wait a minute. Did you not see what I put down? I mean, you didn't even ask me yet. Think bigger. I'm going to challenge you right now to think bigger. So look at what you got and then think bigger. And it was in that moment that Dr. Jolley didn't know that I decided that, you know what, I'm going to think bigger. And as a result, I'm doing many things I'm doing now that I would have never have done if I hadn't sat there and said, you know what, I can do this thing. I'm going to think bigger, and I can do this. And so, Dr. Jolley, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was in the home with you. There was less than 10 of us in there, very private, a very intimate setting. Many of you folks will never have that opportunity, but hopefully he'll do it virtually, and you will. So, Dr. Jolley, my question to you is, number one, what affirmations and belief systems are you feeding your mind, number one? And number two, talk about the importance of setting goals. And I know we're going to do this and thinking bigger, because they all need to be in this type of conversation with you. Indeed, Jolley, who did all the work to make sure we had forms and we had questions and we had stuff we filled out. I mean, it was very intense. It was, man. It was cool. It was like a $25,000 VIP day sitting up in that house. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, Dr. Jolley, and I get a chance to hang out with you often, I would not be doing what I'm doing now. You didn't ask what I wrote down, but if you go back and look at next year and I'm there, if we do it virtually, you say, darn, Shay, you really thought that. I'm like, yeah, you said think bigger, dude, and I believed you. I believed you.
Wow. Well, thank you, Shay. I was glad you were able to be there. And let me first answer the first question, and I'll give the second question. What are the affirmations? I believe in affirmations. I believe that what you speak is what you create. Once you speak it, you own it. If you say you're sick, you're going to be sick. You say you're poor, you're going to be poor. You say your children are bad, they're going to be terrible. That is why you must speak good into your life. Speak good into your family. Speak good into your finances. The world was created by words. Let there be light. There was light. Whether you believe it or not, but there is power in your words. There's power in your words. I used to do a exercise when I was speaking in the youth. I tell them how they have to be careful what they say. I tell them, put your arm out. And I say, now, you got arm, you're person A, person B is on the other side. Person B, put your hand on top of their hand like that. Okay. And now, person A, who got the arm out, say, I'm weak. I am nothing. I'm a weakling. I'm a worm. I'm lower than dirt. And just a terrible, weak person. Now, person B, push the arm down. Now, do it again. Person A, repeat after me. Say, I'm strong. I'm born for greatness. I've got greatness all inside of me. I am a healthy, wealthy, strong individual. And I am primed and prepared to win. I'm going to be a victor, not a victim. I am on my way to greatness. Now, person B, try and push the arm down. Can't do it now. Why? Because your words impact your neurological system. So psychoneurological immunology is one of the things I've talked to people about over the years, about healing your body, getting past sickness. And so I make affirmations because I know the power of words. If you will go to jollygoodnews.org, that's my faith-based site, my nonprofit organization. There's actually a chant on that site. If you just go around that site, you'll see it. We can get my daily affirmations. And I do one with my staff every day. We do it through Zoom. I'm healthy. I'm wealthy. I am happy. I am whole. I feel terrific. I am blessed and highly favored. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And today, prosperity is coming my way. Millions are on the way today, so I can make a difference in other people's lives today. And so we do that affirmation. You can go get it. I'm telling you, people's lives have been changed. So first, the power affirmation. Second is you talk, in great deal about the fact that there are other things that we want people to be encouraged by. And as we do the affirmations and we do the things that will encourage people and inspire people, we've also got to lift them up and help them with specific steps to help them grow. And so I want to encourage people, after you've gone to jollygoodnews.org, I want to encourage you also to make and take advantage of the goal setting. The goal setting is critical. People with goals live longer, live better, and have greater achievement. So people know that goals are important. The problem is most people don't know how to set goals, or they don't have a coach to push them to keep thinking bigger. They settle for the apples that are just on the ground, where there's such great apples right on the tree, but they can't think of that. So how do we set the bigger goals? So that's why we did that event. And we recorded it. Because you're right, Shay. Ain't nobody coming up in here right now with my wife. We are from a 1 to 10. She's a 20 on this. Not fooling around with this. She's a germaphobe, so nobody's coming up in here. So we're not going to be doing the goal setting that I know of anytime soon. We might do it virtually, but you can get it right now. Right now, you can go to williejolly.com/win. We want people to win. How do you win? With great goals. How do you get great goals? You get a coach to help you. I've got a program. You can download it right now, williejolly.com/win. And you can get your goal setting. Take it in, do it with your whole family. Sit around the table. As Shay said, pull out your pad. I go through a very detailed process to get you thinking differently so you can then prepare for a greater future. williejolly.com/win.
I love it. williejolly.com/win. Everyone go over to www.williejolly/win. williejolly.com/win. You know, Dr. Jolley, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to have this type of conversation with you because, you know, one thing people don't understand is while you motivate, number one motivator in the world, while you inspire, while you encourage, you don't leave people there.
Hey, stop. I got the spirit just hit me. Hit me. I'm going to do something here.
Only Dr. Jolley can do this. Only Dr. Jolley.
Only the best on success. Only the best on success is a book that I was honored to be a part of with a number of Hall of Famers. Everybody on here is a Hall of Famer. Yep. And I want to give a digital copy to each one of you. How you like that?
I love it.
So here's what you do. Send me an email. info@williejolly.com. And we'll send you, just have to put in the friend of Shay. Please send the book.
Info at
friend of Shay.
What's the email again so they can get it?
F as in Frank O at WILLIEJOLLEY.com. Info, but you got to say, friend of Shay, I want the gift, the book or whatever. A friend of Shay. Son, there's something in my spirit said, because some people right now are struggling. They might not have any money, but they need a boost. They need something to help them.
Well, you talk about something to help, and you give systems and you give a structure and tools and techniques, and that's one of the things that I like about what you do is by you giving those those systems and so forth. It helps people. Take a moment, if you would, and just talk about the importance of having a system or structure. And when I was at your house, I was able to see something called the Willie Jolley box. And I know we're going to get into, love you, a lot of y'all love this segment. Today is my January 1st. We'll get into that in just a moment. But I wanted Willie Jolley to slow down for a moment and make sure you understand that he don't just leave you pumped up. He don't just leave you encouraged and inspired. And then you're out there on your own and you got to figure out how to stay that way every day. He has tools. He has techniques, he has systems, and he has a structure in place that only keeps you going, but allows you to keep raising your standards and elevating over and over and over and over again as you dialogue and put this stuff into your subconscious brain. So Dr. Jolley, take a moment and talk about something that I don't even think is even available anywhere unless they get into these type of private, intimate conversation with you, the Dr. Willie Jolley box, the Willie Jolley box or the Jolley box.
My friend, one of my friends is a great speaker, and he is Dr. Dave Martin. Dr. Dave Martin was on the Get Motivated tour. He worked with a lot of the athletes and sports teams to help them win championships. And he was on a tour, and he told a story about how at one point he was struggling. He had just a few $100s to his name. I think he had like $2,000 in the bank, and that was all he had. And he said, "I got to do something. I got bills coming up. I got to do something." He went to a Get Motivated tour event, and one of the speakers talked about systems and programs and techniques and principles. And I only had 45 minutes because each one of us I wasn't on that tour then, but each speaker gets 45 minutes. And when he said, "I got so much more to give you, I just don't have time. I want to help more people." He said, so look, at the break, I'll be at my table. Come see me. I got a package for you. So Dave and his buddy ran down to the table, and the package was $1,500. And they looked at it, $1,500. And the guy said, come on, Dave, let's go. And Dave just stood there. And he went through and looked at the package, looked at the pieces. He looked through them. And the guy said, what are you doing? Man, let's go. Are you crazy? You know you ain't got much money. That's $1,500. That's not all the money you got in the world. Do you think that stuff is worth $15? And Dr. Dave said, I don't know, but I'm worth it. I'm worth it. And he bought that $1,500 package, and he said it changed his life. The information that gentleman shared, he went through all those books, all those audios, all those videos, all those materials. As a result of that, when he was on the Get Motivated tour, Dr. Dave shared, I have a house in Phoenix. I have a house in Fort Lauderdale. I have a private plane to take me between my two homes. And I'm a multimillionaire because I believed that I was worth it. And so I say that to say, Shay knows that we have a box, very unique box, the Willie Jolley Wild Box. Powerful products to help you grow your faith, your future, and your finances. Wealthy ways to help you win. The box comes with over $1,500 worth of content products. All my books, audio books, PBS specials, entrepreneurial packages, me and Les Brown together, the Millionaire Mindset. It's packed with products. So it used to be, Shay, when we first got it out, we had a little handle you could hold it by. Now, this is an empty one, but now when we put the stuff in it, it's so heavy you cannot use the handle anymore because it'll break. We got so much stuff. That's $1,500, but again, if you're one of Shay's friends, you're a friend of mine, and you can get it for $497. Boom. Bam.
How do they get it?
They go to williejolly.com/billionaire. williejolly.com/billionaire. I spoke for the Billionaire Mastermind Forum, and I offered it to them. And they said, we want a deal. Billionaires want a deal like everybody. They said, we want a deal. So I gave it to them for $497. And so I just left that site up for my friends. Everybody don't even know about it. Unless you hear me give this speech, you will not. Not on my website, williejolly.com/billionaire. Not promoted.
So I'm going to encourage everyone right now to go with www.williejolly.com/billionaire, www.williejolly.com/billionaire, and you can get the Willie Jolley box. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And you'll look back and it'll be one of the most profitable investments you ever make. Dr. Jolley, as we come down the home stretch, one of our core beliefs here is this whole mantra. This is our core philosophy that today is my January 1st. And today is my January 1st. For those folks know what I'm about to do. You're like, oh, I love this, Shay. It's my favorite segment. You can look right below the video right now, and you can say today is my January 1st. Write those words right below the video. You can hit the share button. You can hit the watch party button. You can write those words. Today is my January 1st. For those folks who want to know what in the LL Cool J is Shay talking about over there, today is my January 1st represents one of those moments throughout the day where you don't wait for the calendar to come up and say January 1st. You create a January 1st moment, you get a do-over right away. So there's probably about 1,000+ moments throughout the day. When you make a decision, that decision could forever change the trajectory of your life. So you make a decision, you're going to work out. That's a January 1st moment. Or you sit back and you binge watch and watch Netflix. You make a decision, you're going to have some hamburgers and french fries, a little salt and pepper and ketchup, and some of you got to have some hot sauce on it. Or you decide you're going to go to the refrigerator. You're going to open it up. Inside the refrigerator, there's some kale. There's some broccoli. There's some Brussels sprouts. It's a January 1st moment. It's a do-over. It's a fresh start. It's my past does not equal the future. So my question to Dr. Jolley is, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what goes through your mind, and why would that even be significant?
I love that. I always love that quote that you say, the day is my January 1st, because January 1st is a day of optimism. We leave the old year and we go into new year. And everybody's excited about the future because it's an optimistic day. And when you get that optimism and you maintain it, you get up in the morning with the expectation that good things are going to come, that good things are on the way. And you need that. Let me tell you again, hope is a powerful tool, powerful. So I love that. There's a friend of mine who he's gone on to be with the Lord, Ray Pelletier. Ray Pelletier was one of the great speakers for the college football teams. And he would go from college football team teaching almost that same concept. And he would sign in the locker room as you go out the locker room, and each one of the players would hit that sign on their way out. The day's out January 1st. And they go out and win a championship because they play at a different level because of that expectation. I want all of you who are in this time now, who are serious about changing your life, turning these setbacks into comebacks, creating wealth, that you say to yourself, okay, I'm really serious. Today is my January 1st. I'm expecting good things, and then I'm going to act on those expectations. Shay, I hope, again, everybody went to winwithwillie.com and signed up for my newsletter because it's critically important that you get these lessons and messages I'm sending out during this pandemic to keep people encouraged. One of the lessons that I sent out really has struck people massively. We've got so many people who said, wow, that spoke to me. There are two kind of creatures that are going to show up strong during this pandemic. An ostrich and an eagle. The ostrich sticks his head in the ground during the tough times, the challenging times. And it says, wake me when it's over. The eagle does something different. The eagle takes off and flies right in the face of the storm and flies right through the eye of the hurricane, through the center of the problem, the challenges, without batting an eye, but keeps going. It's tough, it's hard, but gets above the challenge and looks down from another viewpoint, has a panoramic view of the terrain, the environment. He says, I see now. Yes, right here where we are right now, very difficult. It's a tough time. But there's good up the road. Come on, somebody. Woo! There's good up the road. Keep going. Keep moving. Keep pushing. There's good up the road. And that's what I want to say to everybody who's watching now. I want you to tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody that we listen to this program. Share it. Send the link. Put it out on every social media way you can, that people can be encouraged. That's why I'm here. I got radio shows to do. I got TV shows to do. I've got a media company to run. I've got my speeches I've got to give. I got a lot of stuff. I got books that are coming out of me that I've got to finish. But I made a commitment that I'm going to be with Shay Brown today for you, to help you, because I want some millionaires and billionaires to come out of this pandemic. And then we're going to be doing something coming up in the fall that's going to be huge. We're doing a summit. I want everybody to be a part of this. It's going to be the most profound summit you've ever seen that Shay is putting together. He called me. I was on my way from speaking at something, at a wedding, actually, a few months ago. I had my mask on and everything. And Shay called me in the car and said, I got an idea. We talked about it. I was coming from Eastern Shore, Maryland. And we talked about it with my bride and I were in the car. And he said, I want to do this. We want to help people, Willie. And I need you. You're the king of comebacks. You're the number one authority on comebacks in America. Everybody knows you. I need you. It's not going to happen unless you say yes. Then I'll put it together. I say, Shay, you my guy. Let's do it. So we got it coming up. I want everybody to be a part of it.
Yeah, the Comeback Summit, you can all go over to www.comebackchampionsummit.com. Again, www.comebackchampionsummit.com. Here's the good news. There's no Cash App needed. Here's the better news. There's no Zelle payment needed. Here's the better news. There's no credit card needed. This is an opportunity for you to show up and you to pay the message forward. We're showing up for one reason only, and that is to add value. We believe in serve plus add value, and then the magic happens behind that. And that's one of the things we're going to do. And I've asked Dr. Jolley to share one of his messages, which he will do with you. But here's what I want you to know. Here's the question I want to ask Dr. Jolley. And then thanks, Dr. Jolley, for letting them know about the summit, because we're coming down the home stretch. We're at the home stretch, actually. They may be wondering, as I'm listening to Dr. Jolley, what type of clients is Dr. Jolley looking to work with now? Or what type of folks? So if they want to refer, it's a two-part question to help folks out. And that question kind of comes out. Someone said that Lauren Brown is watching right now. Mavis is watching right now. And kind of like, what type of clients does he work with? So two-part question. He can handle it. Number one, for folks that are like, oh my gosh, I'm liking the message. I'm loving the message. What do I do if I want to share this at my church? Or I want to share this with my community? Or if I want to be able to bring him in and he can do something like this virtually for the organization I'm a part of? That's question number one, because they don't know. And then question number two is, you talked about you work with different folks. What type of clients are you looking to work with within your media company? So they're kind of clear.
Okay, so I'm working with first question is we're doing a lot of virtual events. Dr. Kathy Hughes, I just did one for the school where her grandfather started in Mississippi, Piney Woods Country Life School, the biggest black boarding school in America. And they, of course, being a boarding school in the pandemic is really hard. So she asked me, and I spoke for them. I've spoken for realtors. I've spoken for financial services. I've spoken for meeting planners. I've spoken for corporate groups. We're doing all this virtually. So we're turning setbacks into comebacks. So if you're interested, just send me an email, info@williejolly.com, and send my team. They'll follow up and say, we'll figure out a way to work out the details so that I can come and speak for your organization or some team that you're involved with. And in terms of the clients I work with, corporate clients, I work with every kind of client, from schools, as I said, I did that earlier, corporate associations, rallies, and I've even had a family say, I want to hire you to speak for our young people. They had a few meetings. I've had a business that had a prayer program, and they said, we want you to speak for our prayer group. So I'm doing all of this because I tell you the truth, Shay. I told you I did an event with Les Brown a couple of weeks ago in Sydney, Australia. Now, I've been to Australia 3 times. And here's my regular schedule to go to Australia. I leave my home, let's say on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock. I get to Dulles International Airport, IAD, at 10 o'clock. I have a 12 o'clock flight to Los Angeles. It's a 5-hour flight. So we got 9 o'clock, 3 hours, to 12 o'clock, 3 hours, to 5 o'clock is 8 hours. Then I got a 3-hour layover in LA before I catch my flight to Sydney, Australia, which is 23 hours in the air. So we had 34 hours total from the time I left my home to the time I get to my hotel, or maybe even 35 hours till I get to my hotel in Sydney. Versus, I did our event in Sydney. I came downstairs right here, where I am now, did the sound check, the tech check, spoke for an hour and a half, I'm done, went upstairs, had a midnight snack, and went to bed. So I'm loving this, man. I'm loving it. I love my house. I love my bed. I love my wife. Well, my wife travels with me. But so our clients, now, some people say, well, I want personal time. I've had people call recently. I want personal time. So we have a couple options. I have group coaching for people to be involved with that. Again, info@williejolly.com. And then personal coaching. Now, I only take a few personal coaching clients because it's got to be a serious commitment that you're going to commit because I don't have time to fool around with people who aren't serious. So if you're really serious, and we got a few people who I do coaching, personal coaching. They get an hour of my time every month, unlimited email, but that's very few, and it has a limit because I got so much to do. I'm building something big here. My son and I are building this media company. We are very grateful, and we are on the verge of signing a deal with a company from Spain who does global documentary films. That they want to do a film on me, and we're about to sign it. And they're going to be having some sponsor opportunities for that. It's going to be cool. Speaking of sponsor, some people who want to grow their business and want to maybe say, you know what, I want to tap into your media. I got that XM show, folks, and it's the #1 self-help show in the country, and it meets millions of people every week. If you want to grow your business, promote your business, you reach out to us, and we might be able to have you as one of our sponsors. One company is called, I want one of those sponsor places. I want to get my company promoted and showcased on your XM show. So, how can we help more people? How can we help more people? How can we help more people? This is the time when you come out of this. You can be the ostrich or you can be the eagle. You choose.
I want to be the eagle. Come on down the road.
That's right.
It's a little better down here.
It's
not
better.
the ostrich.
Good
I can't be the ostrich with my head in the sand. That's not going to work. Y'all listen to the one and only Dr. Willie Jolley, who's in triple overtime. We're down the home stretch. We're closing out. I want to first say, one, make sure you connect with Dr. Willie Jolley now. He's given a couple of ways and tools to do that. He mentioned you can send an email in at info@williejolly.com. Put friend to Shay, said you can do that. He mentioned some other ways you can connect with him and some other websites. If you got a hold of this long lost video file, for some reason you got a hold of it, and those links are still working, go do it. Like, go to williejolly.com/win. Go to those websites. If they work, man, take advantage of it right now. If his office responds, say, yes, I'm a friend of Shay. So you can be listening to the podcast, and it's okay to do that. Dr. Jolley, as we close out, I want to first say thank you so much. And I'm going to give you the second and last questions, 2 more questions. The first question, before I give the last question, is, can you share, and it's my favorite question to ask every episode, and they would kill me if I didn't do this, I'm sure. What's up, Michelle Davis? Mario's in the house. You got so many all-stars today. And my favorite question is, what's the #1 idea that you've learned from one of your mentors that you could share with us? Now, you've interviewed so many people, so that's an unfair question for you. You've been mentored by so many folks along this journey. But if you had to pick one idea, not even if you don't mention the name, one idea from a mentor, you say, you know what, if y'all want to benefit from something that I've been taught, that I'm going to pass on to you, well, then you need to watch with new eyes right now. You need to listen with new ears, because Willie Jolley is going to share with you one of the best ideas or ideas that he's learned from one of his mentors along this journey of life.
That's a hard question, Shay, and I'm going through my phone right now to look. I have a whole file of mentor messages that inspire me, that keep me going, that encourage me, that bless me. And I got so many mentors who have blessed me. Les Brown went from being a mentor to being a peer, and now he and I talk often. He'll call me and say, Willie, what should we do? What should I be doing here? What should I be thinking here? So it goes, but Nido Qubein, one of the wealthiest, wisest people I've ever met, John Maxwell, mentor, friend. I've had some of the greatest on my XM show. In fact, I want to encourage everybody to go to my podcast. Go to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast on iHeartRadio, C-Suite Radio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and listen to some of these incredible people I've interviewed. Damon John, Gladys Knight, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson. But one of these quotes I love is from Bill Picard. Bill Picard is one of the wealthiest men in America, a black man. Started with McDonald's, owning one McDonald's with some partners. Struggled. He did everything, mopped the floors, cleaned up every night, worked hard. Finally, he brought out his other partners, so they didn't want to work as hard as he worked. And he ended up having numerous McDonald's all over the state of Ohio and Michigan. As he got to Michigan, he said, I want to look for new opportunities. So he went to Ford Motor Company and said, I want to get in the car business. And they said, well, what we really need is we don't need more car dealerships right now. We need people to help us create the cars themselves, the little things that we need on the car. So he got into a company and he had a factory to make the little, back when they had door handles, the little things you would, doorknobs that you roll, and the doorknobs the little things you put on the top of the pop up and down. He made those, became a multi-millionaire. But then he said, I want to also grow this money. So he got part ownership in MGM Grand in Detroit. And he said something I love. I love this quote. Talent is one thing. You're going to love this, Shay. This is perfect for you. Talent is one thing, and hustle is another. But every day, hustle will beat talent when talent does not hustle. Come on, somebody. Woo! Is that good, Shay, or is that good? Talent is one thing, and hustle is another. Because every day, hustle will beat talent when talent does not hustle.
Woo!
All right, now let's go through the things that I've offered here, because I want to make sure people grow.
Yeah.
I'm serious. If you want the book, Only the Best on Success, a digital, don't be waiting in the mail. I'm not spending the money to send you the book free, but I'm going to pay your postage. It's going to be digital. We'll send it to you. Send me an email. Just say info@williejolly.com. Info at INF as in Frank, at WILLIEJOLLEY.com. You got to put friend of Shay. Please send me the book. Number 2, if you want the Setback book, the box, if you go to WillieJolly.com/billionaire. WillieJolly.com/billionaire. If you want goal setting, you go to WillieJolly.com/goals. You need to set your goals. And I want to help you set big, bold, empowering goals that change your life and change your future and change your finances. And then if you want to become a speaker, you go to youcanspeaknow.com to get the training that I did to get you up and going, learn how to get this business and start making some money. So you can come to my boot camp that I have once a year that ain't cheap. So, but by the time you're making money, you'll be like, I'll pay that. I'll write that check because I'm making money now. We'll probably have to do it virtually. The next one we do, we usually do it the weekend before Thanksgiving every year. We're definitely not doing it live. The people who've already registered know that. But we might do a virtual pre-event, and then we'll do the live one as soon as we all clear. We got to stay healthy. I want to say this to everybody. Please do 2 things as a favor to me. 1 is stay healthy. Don't take chances. This is a time when you need to be paranoid. You need to be over the top careful because there's no cure. I've spoken at so many funerals over the last few months from people who I loved, who let their guard down, and they got this terrible virus, and they died way too early. Please be vigilant. Don't let your guard down. People will call you crazy. They'll call you paranoid. Let them do that. Just stay healthy. That's first. Number 2, please vote. You gotta vote. It's critical you vote. Critical you vote. And I'm going to say it loud and clear. Vote for Biden. I'm making this clear. Now, people know I'm not a political guy. You never heard me, but this is so critical because I'm a conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative. I am a man of God. I love God. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a capitalist. I'm a free enterprise. I love America. I've got all the conservative values, but I got to make sure we treat people well. You treat people kind. John Lewis is right. You treat people kind. You treat people good. You treat people with dignity. And this divisive spirit we have in our country is going to tear up this country. And so we've got to vote for decency. And so as a conservative, I'm not a Republican. I'm just a conservative, a fiscal conservative. I believe you be wise with your dollars. You be careful with your dollars and your family. I'm pro-life. I believe but that starts with baby to death penalty. I don't want nobody getting killed. Die and don't kill nobody. So, but I also believe a woman has the right to choose. I mean, these are political statements that I make, but a woman has the right to choose and make her that decision. And I hope she'll choose life. I've talked to a lot of women who were thinking of the other way. Say, hey, maybe now it's your choice. But I want you to think about it. And I got one who I'm very proud that I shared it with her when I was in seminary. Think through this. I know it's difficult. Think through it. And she had that child, and now 34 years later, that child had a baby, and this mother loving on this grandbaby. She sends me pictures every day. So I'm pro-God, pro-family, pro-free enterprise, but I'm also pro-being decent. Be decent. I'm voting for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I'm making that vote because we've got to stop this insanity of hating on people. It's bad. It's bad. So I fed my stew. You know where I stand. Love you, man.
Vote. Go vote for Biden. Go vote for Biden. He's made it clear. I made it clear. There's no question about that at all. Dr. Jolley, as you close out, I want to say thank you so much. For those folks that are out there that are watching right now, look right below the video. Just put, thank you, Dr. Jolley. Just put, thank you, Dr. Jolley. And why are you thanking Dr. Jolley? Because it's not about Dr. Jolley. It's about the message that he was given to share with you right now. Because he was open to delivering that message, you now can change your life. And he will change your life if you let him. Yeah, the message is that powerful. Yes, his system is that powerful. But more importantly, the information will make a difference for you, your family, your community, and everyone you touch. And that's what it's all about. As we close out, Dr. Jolley, I always like to close out the exact same way. You had one of my favorite stories. One of my favorite stories. Dr. Jolley doesn't even probably remember this thing, but back in 2004, when I launched the Silver Partner Program, he was my very first guest, by the way. And the very first guest that he was on my show. And the show was a Silver Partner Program. And I asked him if he would be there. And he said, yes. And then he told this story, and that story forever changed my life. I used to tell the same story for about 5 years. You know how you have a mentor? You kind of duplicate what the mentor does. I said, well, Dr. Jolley gave me this story, and I used to tell the story, but I can't tell the story like Dr. Jolley. But it's always in my mind. It's in my head, and it makes, hey, what's going on, D? You got the one that does all the work, by the way. Dr. Jolley does all the smiling. D does all the work. What's going on, D. Jolley? How are you?
She said, how are you?
Oh, that's right. Great. She can't hear me. That's right. She can't hear me. I forgot.
I got the ear. So, but anyway, she came in, she had to sign, explain the free gift. So nobody knows what the free gift. So again, the free gift is a digital book, a digital copy of this book. Don't send your address. I'm not sending you the full copy because I'm not, unless you want to. I tell you what, you don't even have enough of them to send them out. Just a digital. I give it to you free. It's free, but it's a digital version. I'm not sending you the hard copy, folks. I'm sending you the digital copy. You download it on your phone, on your car, on your Apple computer, your Macintosh computer, your iPad, your
tablet.
Your tablet. I don't care what you got. You download it. I'm not sending you the book because we don't have enough to send. I have a digital version. Absolutely free. That's my gift to you, okay? That is my gift. It's free digital download. Thank you, B, for clarifying that.
Well, you have a heart to give, man. You got a heart to serve. You clarified the gifts, man, and you stay a lot longer than I thought you would, so I certainly appreciate you always over-deliver. Anybody get a chance to work with Dr. Jolley and his wife, D. Jolley, one thing you can know, it's not a question if they'll deliver, they always over-deliver. You can best believe that. They got a heart to give and a heart to serve. So with that being said, Dr. Jolley, let me turn over you to close us out.
I know what you want. I know what you want.
Let me turn over you to close us out with my favorite story. I'm going to tell you right now, as you're listening, hit the watch party. He's going to do it right now, and then we're done. But I'm going to tell you, hit the watch party button, hit the share button. And when you do that, just write this message, but Dr. Jolley is on fire. And I'm going to tell you, it's been 15 years, okay? It's going on 16 years now. And sometimes I always ask, how many ideas do you need to change your life? One. And Dr. Jolley gave me one idea back then that in many dark hours, and I've got his books, in many dark hours, that one story said, you know what? I got to keep on going no matter what. So, Dr. Jolley, why don't you go ahead and share the
I want to
story.
thank you again for having me. I want to thank everybody for joining on. Hit the watch party. So I'm going to give you a couple last things here that I want you to do. One, I want you to join me and my bride every Monday night at 9 o'clock on Facebook Live, Willie.Jolley, Facebook Live for Happily Married Monday with the Jollies for my book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. We've been married for 35 years, haven't had an argument in over 33 years. And we want to save 1 million marriages and enhance 1 million marriages. Number two, we want you to join me Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for my Jolly Good News Report. We're in a time where we got bad news, sad news, depressing, despondent news all day long. You need some good news. Good news is good for your spirit. Proverbs 15 says that good news is like medicine for your bones. And so we want to give you good news every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. It's a half-hour television program on my Jolly Good News Facebook page, Jolly Good News Facebook page. And so join us. And again, every day, Monday through Friday, you get a free 1-minute message from me. You can get it if you just sign up for my newsletter. All the other options are there. Here we go. I was a news speaker. Had no books, no tapes, no radio, no television. Had no credentials to be a speaker. Struggling to keep the lights on. Struggling to keep the phones on. It was tough. I make sales calls. People say, I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you before. Bam! Hang up in my face. Got that kick in the gut feeling. Anybody ever been there, that rejection? I wouldn't make any more calls that day because I'd be discouraged. Take me a couple of days to get my dander back up. And after I got my dander back up, one day I made a call. And the first guy I called said, I like the way you're talking. I'm having a meeting. I'm going to be in Orlando, Florida. I actually need a speaker. I think you did good. Here's the budget for the speaker. Yeah. Are you available? Yeah. We'll fly you down. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I went to Orlando, Florida, and I gave the speech. And when I finished speaking, they stood up and gave me a standing ovation. And then they gave me my check. I looked at that check. I was ecstatic. Oh, wow. I put it in my breast pocket, finished meeting and greeting people. Went on back to the airport, feeling good. Got on that plane to fly home, feeling good. Sat in my seat, feeling good. Plane took off, feeling good. And then I took out that check a second time to get that thrill a second time. And when I looked at the check, the second time I got depressed. Because I realized that money was already allocated. I owed the water company, the water company, the electricity people. I walked there, I owed everybody. Anybody ever, before you get home, your check is gone. Before you can get to the bank, the check is gone. Start having a pity party with myself when I'm looking at that check right there, B-22, in my seat on the plane. Oh, the gentleman across the aisle must have sensed I was struggling. He struck up a conversation with me. Told me he was a minister. He lectured every day in a different city about health and wealth. I said, you fly every day? He said, yes. I said, you speak every day? He said, yes. We talked for a few more minutes, and then he asked me a question that changed the trajectory of my future. He said, young man, how old do you think I am? I looked him up and down and said, sir, I think you're maybe about 60. He smiled. He took off his glasses. He said, young man, I'm 88 years old. I'm 88, and my best is yet to come. In that moment, everything shifted in my head. If an 88-year-old man could have the optimism to believe that his best days were in front of him and not behind him, what did I have to whine and cry and complain about? And I went home with a new attitude. And I got on that phone and started making sales calls. And if people say no, I say next. I say, I'm not interested in what you got. I say, thank you, you're not the right one. Well, 29 years now. 29 years have gone by. I've been inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. I've been named one of the top 5 speakers in the world. I got best-selling books, television and radio. I travel all over the world. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. And I came here to say to you, without a question in my mind, your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. God bless you.
God bless you. With that being said, thank you so much. He said it best. Your best is still yet to come. With that being said, hit the share button, hit the watch party button, join and connect with Dr. Willie Jolley. My name, for those folks that are wondering who's been doing all that yelling and moderating and so forth, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember, time is long. Life, on the other hand, is very, very short. So you got to live in the moment, and you got to make it count. God bless. We wish you success. Thanks a lot, Dr. Jolley. We appreciate you. Tell D and tell Cheryl and tell the family. Said thank you. We're out.
Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless.